Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Thatcher and Baron Doctorman, the Weirded Beardos.
And we're back!
We are. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in your browser, here we are. The Weirded Beardos back after a couple weeks of absenteeism.
It's a damn morning here in the Southland. We've got rain coming in for the last 3 days, up to 3 or 4 inches. That's what she said. And it's flash flooding. I don't know. It just always seems
the flowers are really happy now, so let's give a shout out to them.
The fires are put out. The earthquakes, you can't tell because the ground's so soggy. It's a beautiful day here in the Southland.
And, well, the good news is that we won't have to worry about the Palisades again because they're sliding into the ocean.
Wow, I know. Yeah.
So
anyway,
we have
Hollywood is okay, everybody. Hollywood is fine.
Hollywood is okay. Hollywood is still untouched by the entertainment industry. So we're still okay. We have a wonderful guest today that I've been trying to get on the podcast for probably about a year or so.
Oh, but his day rate is so high.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes.
He's a professional.
He is. And he's a old friend of both of ours. And we're going to bring...
old.
Well, not as old as you.
Exactly. No one's as old as me.
Well,
Mel Brooks, I think, got me beat.
You're as the elder Mr. Dawes.
All right.
He had a wooden leg named Smith.
Bring him on. He's sitting there.
Let's bring him on. The wonderful and talented Dan Roebuck.
Danny
he is.
The third bearded weirdo.
Exactly.
You add the tertiary beard to our.
Hey, welcome a beard.
Oh, that's one hairy joke.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes.
So thanks for coming. This is fun.
Or however you respond.
Well, can I tell you something? Do you know, I don't want to gush too much, but I'm a fan of both of yours. I've admired both of your work for some time. The truth, it really is the truth. And so it's joyful to be able to sit here and talk to you. And it seems we probably have the same point of view of everything going on in the world today, in the Hollywood world today.
Yes.
Well,
free the nipple. I think you're saying is we should free the nipple. Allow women to
always free the nipple.
Is that what you mean? Like women should go top? That should be not illegal.
Yeah, I don't think it's illegal for them to not. I don't think they're allowed to show it in movies.
Right.
But I don't know.
Free.
There's a lot of nipples I would like to have seen. I would have liked to have seen Mrs. Partridge's nipples, Mrs. Brady's nipples, but
apparently during the day she would have shown you.
No,
that's what it says in her book.
Wait, which
Shirley Jones or
Shirley Jones? Shirley Jones.
Yeah.
What?
Maybe Susan Day too. I don't know.
My friend
Shirley Jones.
I'm friends with Shirley and her sons, so that's weird. Now I'm feeling dirty.
No, don't feel dirty. Feel invigorated.
She was
you
not
shouldn't know that.
She was too nice. I was trying to think what TV MILFs existed that I was like, oh, that was one I would definitely like to change my
life. Donna Reed.
Donna Reed.
But that's before our time, isn't it? Like nobody really thought about, I'd like to see Barbara
officially,
Billingsley
yes.
Samantha Stevens. She's technically a mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was the most beautiful woman who ever starred in a TV series ever.
Yeah.
Well,
Barbara Eden's close second.
Barbara Eden is close second. And if you count Jin, she's a mom.
Something about Elizabeth Montgomery that we never saw. And you can, Elizabeth Montgomery has done some posing in the late 50s. And if you could find like these images,
really?
I mean, what we sound like are 3 old perverts. But the fact is,
that's the alternate title for this podcast.
No, I just think we're sharing things that young men of our age shared when we were growing up. It's like It's like
It's sharing time.
Stand by Me, the the over 50 edition.
Well, we were talking about this, Kirk, while you were off. Like this idea that uh, the thing we have in common, I think is we grew up loving the stuff, and we've been blessed enough to have entered into. The first time I ever kind of clocked this was with Kevin Burns, who became the man who went from the man who loved Lost in Space to the man who was creating Lost in Space product, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think to some extent
Well,
we've all done it.
you're a monster kid, right? That's you use that
I'm
moniker.
yeah,
I think that
I'm very proud.
I think that's our age group. The fact that
Yes,
some level of middle income where your parents could afford to let you buy a Aurora model kit. um, Everyone at ILM when I started there was essentially a monster kid. Maybe not the camera guys, but everyone in the model shop and the creature
yeah,
shop. It and it's interesting because it's very cultural for our age group. As as time went on and the internet happened, and now it's amazing to see people in Denmark and Turkey, and who love I mean, they're much younger than us, but they're huge fans of all the stuff we grew up with.
Yeah.
Which the only
yeah,
equivalent I can think
right.
of is loving film
But they
noir.
weren't watching it. They weren't
No,
watching it on Saturday afternoons like
Right.
we were. But I
right.
just wanted where I was going with that idea was, then there's that other step where you could love Mrs. Partridge, and then you could befriend Mrs. Partridge.
Right.
Yeah, or her sons, which is even weirder.
Well, whatever you're into, that's fine. But
I'm saying friends, Derek.
yes.
Yeah, Shirley is a sweetheart. She's still around, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But did Danny freeze?
I think Danny's frozen. We'll continue on until he unfreezes. He'll
That
be
cold
back.
out. It's that cold out today here in the
I
Southland.
know. He'll be back and in greater numbers.
Yes. The sand people travel in single file. All right. Enough.
Let's I'm gonna take him off screen until he thinks about what he's done.
I like his freeze frame.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a good
It
look
wasn't like,
for him.
yeah. Yeah. It's like every candid photo of me, big surprise, my mouth is open and my eyes are closed. I'm like,
He's
I mean,
gonna
my
he's
eyes
gonna
are
sign he's gonna sign back in.
all
We're
right.
having all sorts of problems here in Southern California.
You know
with,
what it is? It's the solar flares, man. It's the solar flares. There was so much EMP from the sun that there were aurora borealis in Texas,
wow.
which is a line in a Muppet song. Aurora borealis shining down Dallas. Can you picture that? It's the end of the world when Muppet lyrics are coming true.
Sorry, can you picture that? I went somewhere. Maybe I wasn't supposed to talk about Florence Henderson, but believe me,
Maybe.
When I was on the Florence Henderson show, she said she said, "Is there anything else you like?" And I said, "Can I kiss you?"
Oh wow, you get
And we
canceled for
did
that.
I produced an animated movie that Shirley Jones played Mrs. Claus in, and
Nice.
she was delightful. Can I tell you a Shirley Jones story that
Please.
might surprise you?
Sweetheart.
So Shirley Jones has, am I wrong? She has an Oscar for
Yeah, for
Oklahoma
no, not Oklahoma.
or
It's
Music Man,
no.
Music Man.
If only Google could tell us the answer.
No, isn't it for her one of her first movies for for crying
Like
out
Carousel or something.
yeah, no.
Was it
It's not a musical. It's dang it.
Here, let's ask the Google.
Elmer Gantry.
Oh,
Oh,
she has
that's
the Oscar
right. That's
for
right.
Elmer Gantry. Okay, so but
One customer.
she's also the star of some of the biggest Hollywood musicals
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Oklahoma, Carousel,
the
Music Man.
composer wrote another piece of music for her and Andy Griffith. Andy Griffith was playing Santa Claus, and uh, I called her. I said, "Shirley, great news. We got just a little more music for you. Can I send over the music?" She said, Dan, I don't read music. And I was like, huh? She said, I don't read music. Um, but I had just seen The Music Man and I knew the actress who played her role. So I knew she sang in the same range.
Mhm.
So she sang her part. I sang Santa Claus's part. We recorded it and took Andy Griffith and Shirley Jones the recording. And she was grateful. And that was, we did that all within like 2 hours. I got the
Oh,
woman
that's
in.
great.
So the next day, talking to Andy Griffith, he goes, "Now, Danny, who who sang my part on that recording?" And I said, "I did." And he goes, "Danny." And I said, "No, Andy, just because you didn't let me sing on Matlock doesn't mean I can't sing because I sang it like him, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
Shirley Jones, a beautiful lady. Florence Henderson, beautiful people. And so I'm just commenting, going back to that you're not just working Darren in Star Trek and Kirk in Muppets and whatever else we're doing. We're also, the better part of all that is we get to know people like Shirley Jones,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, and Kevin Burns was such a fan of that thing. He became the the same with the Munsters. He became kind of their, I think to some
The high
extent,
muckety muck.
well, not just that, but also became their therapist. Like,
Right.
you know, he would get calls from Burt Ward, Kevin, I'm having a problem.
Wait for
Really.
wait, I don't know the gentleman, so I don't know what
Oh, you
era
don't
you're
know
Oh,
talking.
yeah.
Kevin Burns? Kevin Burns
I know Bob.
was
Right.
Bob Burns, not related, but both very, very great guys. Kevin Burns was a fan of the Munsters, the biggest Munsters collector in the world, and a
Okay.
fan of Lost in Space, maybe one of the biggest Lost in Space collectors in the world. And then as he got older, he and John Jassy took over the all of the estate and the projects of Irwin Allen.
Yeah.
Ah,
And so he became the guy who essentially was out there pitching the Lost in Space movie, the Lost in Space TV series. The Munsters, it was a little, he never got to do a Munsters project, but he worked for Fox, so he never had access to the Munsters.
Right.
But he was a very persnickety man, and he was a dear friend. And when I found out I was playing Grandpa Munster, I said, "Can I tell Kevin Burns?" And Rob Zombie said, "He's the only person you're allowed to tell,"
oh wow.
because he knew Kevin would keep the secret.
Right.
So when I first told Kevin, he was like, "Rob Zombie," and he had a overreaction of anger. That's just like my idea. And I said, "Kevin, I'm gonna I'm gonna pretend what you just said never happened. And I'm gonna say again that a man who says, 'I love you,' a man who calls you, a man who eats cereal with you on Saturday morning, when I tell you that I'm playing Grandpa Munster, of all the frickin' actors in the Screen Actors Guild, I want you to have a different reaction." And, so I said, "Kevin, I'm playing Grandpa Munster." And he went, "It's marvelous." And that's all I need. I wish
Well,
you could have met him, Kirk. He was he was grand and big, and he was like Nero. And I tell you guys, a genius. I've met maybe two or three. Like I did a TV series with David Milch, whose
yeah.
brain was like, like the Metaluna mutant. Like Kevin Burns could write, direct. He could do voices. He could do anything. And he did Curse of Oak Island and all these TV shows. And
Yeah.
he would literally write the scripts with one finger.
Wow.
Wow.
You knew him,
Wow.
Darren, right?
I knew him a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. He did a ton of documentaries about all this stuff that we love.
Yes,
Uh,
about Poseidon, about Towering Inferno.
yeah. Yeah.
He did
His
great, Kirk. He did great. Any bio you see on someone we like the
It was
bio on
him.
Boris Karloff,
No, wow.
Lon Chaney, like all the Munsters actors, he did all that stuff for bios for the
Well,
Bio channel.
I want to talk for a second about the Munsters because it's been done You're the Rob Zombie most recent version. Was it the 5th version from the
You're
original?
exactly right. I always
Yeah.
say people had such a reaction that we had the temerity to play those roles, and I'm like,
when
no, I
they've
was
been,
the
yeah.
fifth guy to play Grandpa
Yeah.
Munster. I wasn't
Well,
the
yeah,
second guy.
Robert Morse played
Robert
him.
Morse, yeah.
I know. Well, I remember Edward
Well,
Harriman.
working backwards,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Sandy Barron. Sandy
Right.
Barron did the Christmas one. Robert Morse did the one before that.
Bird, yeah.
The Munsters today was Howard Morton,
Okay.
Right.
and and Eddie Izzard, if you count that horrible thing that
Oh, right.
those guys, that's we were discussing like when you were off. So the Munsters was about a family, just in case someone's watching this who's living under a rock. The Munsters was about a family that looked horrible, but was just like you. And
Yeah.
if you're too stupid to understand it, it was a metaphor for African Americans. They
Right.
No,
they look different, but they were just as goofy as you were.
I've
That's
never
all.
thought. I've never. I
Yeah,
just thought. I just thought different. Being a different kid from a very normal family, I felt like the reverse Maryland.
Right.
I was a Munster being raised by the Cleaver family. So
that's
for me,
funny. Well, that may be all of us, by the way. Uh,
I don't know.
although
Some people
I,
have
we,
very artistic parents. I did not.
we mentioned Donna Reed earlier. The opening of the Munsters is a direct
yeah, direct
ripoff
Donna Reed,
of the
right,
opening of the Donna Reed show
which was
Okay.
on
problematic
purpose.
because it gave Yvonne DiCarlo, who wasn't a star, the first billing. So that's why
Right.
they kind of reworked it after that. But
Wow.
um uh so and Al Lewis played it in the thing, and there was a
Right.
cartoon version. Oh, I
Right.
just wanted to get this thought out. So they
No,
give Brian Singer the Munsters because
Yeah.
that was
before
Mockingbird Lane, right? That was the
Mockingbird
Mockingbird.
Lane,
Yeah, yeah.
That's
and
not
these
Brian
these
Singer. That's the other Brian.
oh, I'm sorry, who was it?
The guy who did yeah.
It's so funny. You're right. I don't know why I thought it was Brian. Well,
Yeah.
let's just say the geniuses behind Mockingbird Lane said,
Right.
Yeah.
"Well, our monsters look gorgeous, but they're really horrible people."
Right.
Well,
Right.
that's not really the Munsters. That's got
Right.
nothing to do with theoretical, metaphysical, and analogous. I'm using words I don't understand, but
Yeah.
the Munsters weren't about that.
Right.
That could be the Ted Bundy story.
Right.
And that's,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, or if you watch the recent thing, Monster on Netflix,
Oh, right.
like
Ed
they
Gein, yeah,
cast the most handsome kid, this wonderful kid, Charlie Hunnam,
to
is
play Ed
playing
Gein, yeah.
like, and if you see any picture of Ed Gein, he's like this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but they get this great looking kid to play him. Anyway,
Howard
um,
Morris played Ed Gein.
Howard
Remember Howard
Moore,
Morris?
You're
Yeah,
not
Howard Morris.
yeah,
you're
Yeah,
not wrong about Brian Singer being involved in it. He directed the first episode, but Brian Fuller was the
Brian
producer.
Fuller, that's right.
that's correct. That's right. Brian Fuller, who did the Flintstones, maybe? Am I wrong? No, that was Brian Levant.
No, that's Brian
Uh,
Levant. Yeah.
yeah,
Too many
which
Brians.
too many Brian. I think Brian Levant at one point was looking at the Munsters too.
I
Anyway,
think he was too, but yeah.
I looked at him.
so the Munsters have had many iterations. I was the last guy, but I was the first guy to play it who actually knew Al Lewis, Fred Gwynn,
That was my
knew
question.
them. Yeah.
Did you ever meet Al or
Yeah. Oh, knew
particularly
him.
Al? Right.
Knew him.
Knew him.
Knew him.
Yeah.
And what's weird is everybody thinks he's small. He wasn't, of course. He was 6'1", almost 6'2".
Really?
He and I are from about the same area, like as a crow flies, 65 miles from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is
Okay.
the Bronx. And uh I was so similar to him that when they had his coat that they just auctioned off again at Heritage 3 years ago, I put it on and it fit me fine.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So now I'm probably a little more broad chested, but he was a big guy.
Yeah,
And
interesting. Well, next to Fred Gwynn, he looked average.
he
Right.
looked average because Fred was been like I did a
Yeah,
movie with Fred. Fred's 6'6",
yeah.
Right.
almost 6'7", and they
Plus,
put
they had him on the
He had
11-inch
five-inch.
hair. Yeah, but
Right.
everybody
Exactly.
say, Jeff Daniel Phillips, I think, does a great job. In our version, those guys had to play the characters younger. I was
Right.
very lucky because I was playing Grandpa
Well,
at
that
He
was
was always old.
350 instead of
Yeah.
450. Uh,
yeah, it was an interesting take. Now, everyone I know who's worked with Rob Zombie says he's the nicest, kindest. Just it's like David. I worked with David Cronenberg for a little bit, and
oh,
and David's known for being making really weird, creepy movies. He was like your kindly English professor from college. He was
yeah,
at dinner
that's
at his
nice.
house with his family, and he's just very thoughtful. And it's interesting the guys who do the monstrous stuff. I mean, the monsters was obviously comedy, but the stuff he's done before with maniacs
Yeah.
and all that is all
No,
dark and cool.
Rob is absolutely. He could be the fourth bearded weirdo. Truly, because he really, truly loves this stuff,
Right.
and
Yeah. I mean,
Sherry does too.
And
it's
Kirk.
But Rob
obvious. Yeah.
also, by all, you know, he's also watching foreign films and he's
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
Jacques Mété, and he's not he he's just he's like no one I've ever met. He's kind of a Renaissance man. Um,
Right.
but he's smart enough to know, like I'm like, Rob Zombie doesn't worship the devil. Did you see his new album cover? Hail
Yeah.
Satan.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, he knows what's
Rob,
up.
you're making it very hard for me to defend you.
Hail
He
Satan.
calls me up one time and he's like,
Yeah.
Rob's like, hey, huh?
Go
I
ahead.
s-
Go ahead.
no, he calls me and goes, hey, Dan, you want to be in a video? Yes. Oh, one of your videos? Yes. It's next Saturday. You want to be in it next Saturday? Yes. I'll do it. It's probably going to be hours of makeup. Great. You're going to play the devil. Now,
Come
Rob,
on. It's called
yeah,
Rain, Danny. It's
yeah,
called Rain.
yeah. No, but it's like, I'm really, I'm a good Catholic boy. It's
Just
very
remember,
unpopular, but I do
the
think there is a devil. And I do
the
think
devil was once beloved of God. So
Yeah.
so that's
play
what
it
his
from that
publicist
attitude.
tells us. That's what his publicist tells us. But
His name's
I go,
Lucifer. He's bringer of light.
I go, okay, I'll play the devil, but can I emasculate him? And Rob's like, what do you mean? I said, what if he sounded like Paul Land? He goes, do that. So that if you ever see it, it's Life at Times of a Teenage Rock God, and I'm like, oh, I'm the devil. Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Well, Charles Nelson Riley in there too.
yeah, a little of that too.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
no, he directed me in a play. Charles Nelson Riley literally stands in the back of the theater, and if you do well, he goes, "Great delivery, wonderful, wonderful." Like he comments on your performance, like he might be doing in a rehearsal, but there's an audience, and he
Was
doesn't
that
Wow.
give a shit.
was that his theater above the bowling alley, or his? Remember when he had that acting school
Yes,
above the?
that's so
Yeah.
funny. Yes, yes, over by the Scientologists. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I knew. I
the
knew him.
Tamarind.
Socially, yes. And he was telling about his acting school. What's so funny is, like a lot of actors, he was that guy. That was not a bit he put on like
You're
Gilbert Gottfried.
1,000% right.
No, he literally talked like this. I was like, oh my god, but I love the Muppets. That's amazing. He was just when you first meet him, like, oh, it's like Eddie Deason and some other
Right.
character actors. Like they are that. They're not.
That
It's not a
so
bit.
funny you say Eddie Deason. I saw Eddie Deason a few months ago at one of these shows, and I realized that he lived within a half hour of where I was going to do a movie. And I called the director of the movie and I said, can you put Eddie Deason in my scene? I said, you could even give him my money. I don't really care. And he goes, absolutely. So Eddie Deason came and we ended up in a scene together in
Was this
where we
recent?
all, yeah, this was about 2 months ago.
Oh
The
wow.
movie's called Once Upon a Time in Macon, about Macon, Georgia.
How's he aging?
He's fantastic. Now, let me tell you
Okay.
something. Eddie has, I know we all read the same stuff, and Eddie is marvelous, smart, funny. Um, on top of it, my takeaway was the next time I do a movie, I think I'm putting him in it. Not I think I'm going to try to put him in it. I mean, my
Right, right.
takeaway was I want to work with him more. Um, and he's just a
Yeah,
sweet guy.
I did. I was always in voiceover auditions and stuff. We did a movie, voices for a movie together. When I went into the recording studio, he was there and he stands up. He goes, "Hi, I'm Eddie," and was exactly Eddie Deason. It's nice to meet you. And I was like, "Oh, it's really nice to meet you. I love you. Oh, thank you very much. What are you doing? Just incredibly genuine, but absolutely Eddie Deason." So I was just curious. This was in the '90s, so he's got to be in his late '60s at this point.
I would
Um,
think he's
Older than that, yeah.
contemporary of Zemeckis and Spielberg. He's probably 70 something,
'70s
I
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
think.
So I'm just curious how, because even then he was probably in his 30s, but that energy was very youthful energy. So I was just curious, and when I said how has he aged, is it still
No,
works? Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
it's still the same. But that was I mean, you had Rip Taylor, you had Charles Nelson Riley, Paul
Correct.
Lynde died long before we could meet him. But when you met these guys who were so, I mean, my whole life, if I could have gotten into making movies sooner, Charles Nelson Riley and Rip Taylor would have been two hitmen waiting in a car for the call to kill the guy. And it would have I would have been like, that would have been my cutaway. And then I would have shot them for like 2 days and seen what they came up with. And then I would have put the movie around them. But could you imagine? Oh, we're going to kill him. Well, no, we're not. You know,
Well, the
Well,
the
most,
the the string that runs through this is they're all theatrical actors.
yes,
You
sir.
know, they
right,
all did hours and days of productions on stage,
right.
and
Yes.
they were able to develop this persona that was bigger than life because it had to be. You
Well,
know,
but
Yeah.
do we have room for? I mean, Jared and I have talked about it because we're both fans of character actors going back to the '30s. But do we have room in movies now? We even go, who are the character actors of today? I mean, Jack Black is sort of, but he's kind of a leading guy in a comedy.
yeah,
Um,
he's not though, and as they've tried.
well, but I'm saying, but that's what he's getting. I mean, he's close to a character actor.
Well,
Yes,
I think you guys, I mean, how do, I don't, we're clutching at like, I know Jack Black is probably a great guy, but you can't put him in the same category as
Well, he's
um
he can play
I
broad, is what I'm saying, but he's
yeah,
not a
no,
character.
no, but I'm uh um James Whitmore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm just saying, we don't have I'm like that. I'm
but you're not a
I'm
character actor. You can play broad, as
Well,
no,
evidence.
I
but I
mean
can
the
but I can play, I've in one
Right.
3-week period of my life, I played a distraught funeral home director, I played an English agent, and I played a guy in a high castle. Like,
yeah,
I went in the same week. I was on the Munsters and I was on my Star Wars project in the
Right.
same week. So, I can change myself, change how I look. I'm Santa Claus in
Right.
Terrifier 3. And, a
Oh.
week after that, I was playing. So, but our Jack Blacks, I don't think they can do that. Tom
Well, no, but
Wilkinson could kind of, Paul Giamatti could do it.
yeah.
Paul
Uh,
Giamatti, yeah, but he's Paul Giamatti. I mean, I'm just thinking of like character
Look,
types.
you can go through the entire cast of Shawshank Redemption and find
yes.
our greatest
Our greatest
character
character
actors.
actors, yeah.
Um, you know,
Clancy
Billy
Brown.
Bob
William
Thornton,
Clancy Brown, William Sattler.
yeah.
They're great
Uh,
actors. I don't think they're because I guess for me a character actor is kind of a one note, but it's such a great note that you'll put
I see. Like you're saying, you mean a personality actor, and I think I'm not
yes, I would say from a
like Charles
character.
Nelson Riley, Paul
Yeah,
Lynn, Rip
Right.
Rip
Taylor.
Torn. Yeah, I mean, I would say the closest we have is Nathan Lane. Is sort
Yeah,
of like you're
he's
expecting.
like, yeah, he's like that. I feel, but this is why I think people shouldn't. I mean, unfortunately, this is the rage of the moment. But you know, Nathan Lane, once he was like, "Well, I'm just gay." Well, I don't know. So okay, so you've just cut by 2/3 the roles you'll play. I don't, because nobody, once Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell came out, they went
Right.
and tried to do movies where they were playing like Dan Aykroyd's wife, and no human being would buy it. So why even go to the trouble of
Right.
why do actors feel the need for people to know everything about them? Why is their ego so huge?
Yeah. Why is that,
You know,
Kirk?
Doug, you
Look,
should be able to tell us that.
when it's this large, people talk. I'm just saying, people talk. I don't promote it. It just, the
It
ladies.
just happens.
It just. I'm not here. Um, no, but it's interesting. Back to the subject that at hand was, yes, if you want to call them personality actors, I always call them character actors because they played one character more or less.
Hmm.
Yeah, like a character actor to me is, George
Charlie Chaplin.
Zuko and
Well,
Bela
yeah,
Lugosi to some point, a guy who
yeah,
played Lionel Atwill.
Boris Karloff, not by and sometimes it's not even by Bob Denver was a character actor, didn't want to
Mhm.
be, but he ended up being one.
Yeah, but
You
he
kind of
Bob Denver, who I have great respect. Like that's the other. I think Bob Denver did Bob Denver great.
yeah,
Like between Dobie Gillis and
Gilligan,
Gilligan and Dusty Road. What was it called? Did you ever see
Dusty's Trail.
Dusty Road?
Yeah.
Dusty Trail.
and
Like
and Far Out Space Nuts.
Well, yes.
let's say,
Or Chuck
by the way,
Chuck
Chuck
McCann,
McCann,
character
the same
actor.
thing,
Yep.
same
That's what
guy.
Chuck McCann. Yes, exactly. Same guy every movie. Alan Hale.
Hello,
Yeah.
pal. Hello, pal. You remember he was like the right
Well, he.
guard guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was the guy in the mirror.
Mona. Yeah.
You guys, he told a story one time. Uh, like he went through some horrible divorce, and he had made his opus movie, and he came to the apartment, and the wife put all the negative, all the sound, all the cans of film were out on the street, and people were digging through them.
Wait, who was this?
Chuck
Chuck
McCann.
McCann.
McCann. I
You
met
gotta
him.
really hate you gotta really hate your husband if you take his opus.
He
His
had to be.
movie.
I met him. He had to be in his 80s at an animation festival here in LA, and he was walking around working the room like he was 20 years
Yeah,
old in vaudeville. He was just that. Yeah, exactly. It's like Daddy Deason. They are who they are, and you cast them to do that.
to be that, right. You don't
Right?
push
Like,
them.
no,
You don't
no, you
push
just
them.
bring you to the thing. But do
I
we?
like to be pushed. I like to go to a set and have a director.
You're not pigeonholed. I mean, character actors
Yeah,
are somewhat pigeonholed, and I think
yeah.
I don't know if there's just not enough jobs anymore to
There's
have the
not.
guy who's yes, Frank,
Yes.
what was his name?
Flintstone.
Frank.
That guy was always like,
It was
"Oh, any idiot
Willard.
could do it, so maybe you can."
Yeah.
Yes.
Frank, not Fontaine.
Yeah.
Was it Fontaine?
Well, you think
Anyway,
Frank Fontaine was like, "Hello"?
Yeah.
That was
Right.
the guy who was always on
Crazy Guggenheim.
Tracy Guggenheim. Yeah.
But yeah,
I keep thinking of the two Gildersleeves. One was Willard Waterman. That's not him. The other one is the one we're thinking of.
right.
Yeah.
I think it was
He was
Frank.
Mrs. Ricardo.
Yes.
He was.
Well,
He was
that's Gail Gordon.
well,
That's
no,
Gail
Gail
No,
Gordon.
Gordon.
yes,
No, hold
but
on. Now, can we talk about
Yes.
three bearded weirdos? Let's talk about the
see how
character actors that get no recognition. I'm going to say a name. If I
Okay.
say Joe Kearns, do you know who I mean? And I
Kern?
know that's kind of out of nowhere. He was the original Mr. Mitchell on Dennis the Menace.
Oh,
Remember
yes,
Gail
yes,
Gordon took
yes.
over for him.
Yes.
Joe
Martha.
Kearns was so now Dennis was so like he was like Joe Flynn, but he wasn't Joe Flynn. But
Right.
Joe Kearns in those Dennis the Menaces, I'm telling you, it's like Francis Bouvier. Their talent was so grand that you thought you were
The,
seeing a human being,
the real
Right.
thing. Yeah.
the real thing. But by
Mitchell.
all accounts, Bouvier was not Aunt B, and Joe
Right.
Kern was not
Right.
Mr. Wilson. But
Right.
Yeah.
remember, he'd wear his pants up to
Yep.
like those are the actors when I was a kid. William Wyndham, Joe Kern,
Yeah.
these actors that you go, that's a human being. That's what I loved when I know I'm talking about a million things. So we
That's
had
fine.
Eddie Deason was what a nerd was, and
Right.
he got to define that, and he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and everybody did him.
Right.
Dan, I think everybody did Eddie Deason
Right.
from the time I got to Hollywood until Napoleon Dynamite.
Right.
Right.
When you went,
Was it Jared Hess?
Jared
Directed it. Yeah.
directed it,
Direct the
but
brother to
that
Napoleon.
kid was like someone we all went to school with.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I knew the kid just like that, and
Yeah.
I thought that guy has completely redefined what the nerd is.
Right.
That guy, I did a show with him. Uh, terrific,
Was it
terrific
Hess?
kid.
Wasn't
Good.
he Jared Hess's brother or no?
No,
There was
No.
but
okay.
they were all Mormon.
Right.
His
He does have a twin. The guy who played Napoleon has an
oh,
identical
he
twin.
does.
Wow.
Yeah, I was at Comic-Con and I walked up to him and the last name was the same and I kind of
He
went,
had the
hey.
wrong one.
Yeah, he goes, and he was literally like this. He's like, that's my brother. I'm like, oh, sorry, you must get that a lot.
You know what you
Like-
do? Then wear a hat. Come on,
Cut it
Yeah,
out.
like
Grow a beard.
grow a
God.
beard. It's not that hard. I know I'm jumping around. Do you guys have questions? Because I'm not sure. Did you
No,
know?
I love this kind of thing. Just be as free. Oh, look at that.
Did you know that oh God, every time
Oh, you did it again.
I know
It's beautiful.
that's so weird. So I had this idea, and I'm going to keep talking, and
Outer
it'll go
limits.
back.
An outer
I had
limits.
this idea. I think it was mine or it was Pete Bregman's to do a coloring book for House of a Thousand Corpses, but to do it like a 1960s coloring book. So our House of a Thousand Corpses coloring book has like Sherry Zombie hitchhiking, and I think I can. Last time I
like
put
one of the
black in front
EC
of it.
comics.
Yeah, well, no, even more like, um, isn't that funny? The black makes it find its way again.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Interesting. Um, she's hitchhiking, and it says it's always right to pick up. It's always good to pick up hitchhikers.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's the opposite. And this is that went so well that they wanted us to do this one. And so it's like everything in it, if you know the movie, is the opposite of what you want it to be. Like it says, a doctor's suggestion. I'm hoping that it doesn't do it again. A doctor's suggestion should always be followed. But if you watch Halloween, no one's to blame for the murders more than the doctor.
Right.
Because the cop says we should tell everybody, and he goes, "No, don't do that.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
cause panic." Right. So the guy that you let escape now kills 9 people instead of this Halloween. Everybody stays in, and we're gonna shoot to
Just
kill.
think how bad it could have been.
Well,
I'd like to do a movie. Wouldn't it be great to just go to the guy who owns the rights and go, can I just do, you can't call it November. Well, I guess you could call it November 1st.
Right.
Or you call it All Saints Day. And it'd be like, because really when you watch Halloween, It's a movie of three of the worst babysitters anyone's ever hired. Because I have kids, and they come in, they drink the beer, they're gonna bang in your bed. Like, I want you to imagine those people coming back the next day
Yeah.
and finding,
What the hell's
you
going
know,
on here?
yeah, the first thing he goes, honey, I think somebody drank some of the beer. And then he goes upstairs, he comes down, he goes, remember that goofy kid who works at the grocery store? Yeah, I think he's hanging from a hook upstairs. And somebody left a tombstone on our bed with a dead body underneath it. And that
Yeah.
other bitch is out in the garage, dead in the car. Like, and then Jamie Lee Curtis takes two 12-year-old, a boy and a girl, and puts them in a bed and locks the door. You know there was a baby. What are you, a 12-year-old boy, and so it locks a girl in a room with you?
Yeah.
You can't be blamed for what you
No,
might come up.
he's completely blameless.
Yeah, he's blameless. So anyway,
You know,
talking about
I love taking, taking the next step in these stories and trying to figure out what would happen in real life.
Follow the logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Logic.
fun.
Well,
And-
like every horror movie, if everyone said, let's stay together in one room, it'd be like no movie. I mean, that'd be a great
Yeah.
short. And then the killer just
it'd
comes
be funny to just, and then they're just in there reading,
right.
Yeah.
and the guy's like knocking on the
Yeah.
door.
Sounds
We
going
can't
on
get in.
outside.
Yeah.
What's going on out there?
Yeah.
And finally they break in and they just shoot him.
So we were talking when I did, like, you're two talented people, and Darren was saying that the industry has changed for guys like him. What about you? What about you? Are you directing, or what are you doing?
Well, sadly, when the Muppets were purchased by Disney, they kind of had a mandate of let's not work with anybody who's ever worked with Jim Henson.
Who's ever known how to do Muppet shows?
So they slowly kind of phased me out. Whenever they had money, they hired fancy Hollywood directors. When they had no money, they're like, "Hey, can you do this?" And then yeah. So I'm kind of done with the Disney version of the Muppets, not by choice, but by their choice. I did and the Henson Company just hasn't had anything. They're doing little kid stuff. I was with Nickelodeon the last 3 years directing, and then they just got blown up by when they were purchased by Sky.
Paramount purchased.
Yeah, well, Paramount owned Nickelodeon, but the whole purchase, Nickelodeon, they fired like 1,000 employees. It's insane. The head of Nickelodeon left. So I don't know the ashes. What's going to come of it? I do know people at Skydance. I don't know anyone. I don't know people who might be left at Nickelodeon. But that means it's time for medication. Well, that was my alarm.
That sounds very sinister, actually. I mean,
that might be time for the new movie. I think that might be your next movie, Medication, and the
Medication
thing goes,
Day,
and the pills, and you got to figure out which one is fentanyl and which one is the CBD.
Tonight's episode, Prescription for Murder.
Yeah, starring Lord Green. Remember?
I'm looking for character acting jobs, to be honest.
no, you should be getting them.
Well, I need an agent. The thing is, I did a voice on Inside Out 2, and then I had that cameo in or the part in Werewolf by Night. So I would love to do that. I have a couple of things that are on the horizon, but everything in Hollywood right now is like, maybe we're not sure, maybe next year.
Yeah,
these are roles that friends have said, hey, I want you to play this. I'm like, great. And then everything's
so what about doing like kind of what I did, try to find smaller projects in directing? I mean, I know you're not better than, you're bigger than the Muppets.
Well, that you're saying that you finance or people hire you. I'm happy to direct.
No, I've put 4 movies together, mostly on my own. But and one movie I was hired to direct.
With your financing, or you got financing?
I found financing.
Yeah, see, I don't know that part of the world, the producing part. So,
well, I didn't know it either. I mean, I had to. put on my big boy pants and learn it. But I mean, I
I know how to produce. I don't know how to get money. I mean, if you gave me the money, I could make a movie from start to finish. I don't know how to go to people with money and go. And what I've heard is when I've been involved, I was going to be involved with a 4 picture thing where I was going to write one and direct one, and it was the same thing. They're saying they don't want one movie; they want a package of like 4 or 5 movies for X, and then that way they increase their odds of getting a hit, I guess. But
well, I don't. I think all that's always bullshit. I think
Mm.
there's this thing that happens where I've seen it happen 100 times to people like us because they know how desperate we are to be creative, right? And they go, "I hear you have a movie." Yes. Um, how much will it cost? Well,
right,
I know a lot of talented people. I ask a lot of favors. It should cost $3 million, but I could make it for $420,000.
right,
Won't be easy, but I could do it. And they go, "Well, we only make $1 million movies. Could it cost 1 million?" And you're like, "Yeah, good."
yes,
And I mean to say this has happened 40 times. The first thing the person does is they triple their salary. The next thing they
right,
do is they triple their girlfriend's salary,
right.
right? But you guys have all bought a car in your life, and when they say the car's $62,000, you don't say, "I only buy $100,000 cars." Did
Right.
this car cost $100,000? See,
Right.
when you apply the logic of human brain power to something, it doesn't make sense. That whole thing, they don't want to make one movie, they want to make 4 movies. I please, and it's not, I'm not degrading that possibility, but in general,
No, they just want you to take 25% and think that 3 more movies are coming.
right, and think that three, right, to be
Well,
paid less. They also they also don't have the money. Like the money
Yeah.
never comes.
oh
Here's
no,
how
no.
you
The guy who
the
told me that whole system, he's in prison.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. It was a
Well, at
whole
least
thing.
he's closer to the money now.
There's a whole story. Yeah, yeah. But that he had this thing, and we were going to shoot in an empty mall in like in Iowa. I mean, it was crazy. But
and I
no, my version of what you just said was this. Well, this is when I was with the Henson Company. We're going to do a big like Harry Potter parody. It was like a Austin Powers to James Bond movies. This was a comedy, and there was a script, and we went to Sony, and Creature Shop's going to do the creatures and whatever, and we said we can do this for like $25 million. And the executive, who was very nice, she goes, I can't make a $25 million movie. I go, well, what do you mean? She goes, if I go to my bosses with a $25 million movie, they're going to think you don't know what you're doing. I'm like, no, I've done movies for 5 million and 8 million and 10 million. Yeah, no, I know you know how to do it, but they're
right,
not going to think so. So it needs to be like, if you came to me and said it's $75 million, like, okay, it's $75 million, fine, but then they won't let you direct it because you've never directed anything.
Right.
I'm like,
70,
dang,
right.
I know, I totally am on your side, but this is my problem. So we just kind of walked away and went, okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, your logic circuits don't work, but
No,
that
doesn't it? We literally are in one of the few businesses ever created where what used to be a creative experience, and if you read the Selznick
no,
memo book, you know, David O. Selznick says in a memo, we can't, even for the most minor roles in Gone with the Wind, we must spend money and have the greatest actor that is available to us, even for one line. He says in the memo, because if they are not as good as our leads, it will be noticed. Like we had creative geniuses running a business, and now we have a woman or man who says, we can't make a $25 million movie because that's what we used to do. And when we did that, 7 of us didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a $75 million movie. So we all have a job. Now, not you, you're not going to have a job,
Right.
Kirk, because
right.
you're, you know, you,
Well,
you who's by nature of your genius, your intelligence, your talent, your friendship. Darren Dockerman could design your movie. Dan Roebuck could be in your movie. But because you could bring all that to fore, we're not going to do that because that doesn't make sense because we can't employ all these other idiots that
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Right. Well,
I
yeah.
go, I said I have props. I make movies myself. This one I wrote and directed with my daughter, and it's
Nice.
fantastic. This
Now,
one's coming out. We have it in
do you
theaters now, Saint Nick of Bethlehem,
do you
that I do
shoot
with
shoot
Spencer
in LA?
Moore.
Do you shoot them up in Vancouver? Or?
I shoot them in my hometown in Pennsylvania.
Oh, nice. Is that where you're living
I
now?
shoot this one's even called Saint Nick of Bethlehem
Bethlehem,
because
Pennsylvania.
Bethlehem,
Right.
Pennsylvania. We it was called Saint Nick, and my buddy who I was doing the rewriting with, he lost his funding, and I said if we bring it to my hometown, I might be able to. And we hit at exactly the right moment because they had just put on Hallmark Channel The Miracle of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and the entire thing was filmed in Winnipeg. So
Oh,
I went into my hometown and said, "Are we going to take this lying down?" And
Did you
made really a dynamic, marvelous. I invite people to look up Saint
did
Nick
you
of Bethlehem official trailer.
did
I
you
got
get your
Catherine
crew? You got
Moriarty.
your crew from New York?
I built a crew here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
such
yeah,
a good crew. When we shot a movie for someone else in Connecticut, I took my Pennsylvania crew to Connecticut. And we have
nice.
built an infrastructure here that didn't exist. And I'm making the movies. I don't make them. There's no trailers for the actors. There's none of that stuff.
Right.
That doesn't happen. But as an actor, I can tell you half the movies I do, there's no trailers. And
Right.
everyone, that's just the reality of the world we live in now.
now,
Right.
Dan, I don't know if you know this, but I
Oh,
was born in Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, I didn't know that. You're a Pennsylvanian.
Well, at least by birth. But
That
yeah,
counts.
and my mother's family was all there, and they've scattered to the four winds now. But yeah, many wonderful times there.
Yeah, Pennsylvania is a great place, and Wilkes-Barre is a very lovely area up toward the Poconos.
I've only
Yeah,
been to Philly and Prince of Prussia. What is it? King of Prussia?
King of
It's
Prussia.
funny, King of Prussia,
Yeah.
King of Prussia. I
I
like
shot.
you made
I
it
shot.
more of
It's
Yeah.
like
a
Prince of
Romanov
Persia
story.
or King of
Yeah,
Prussia.
It's such a weird name for a town, and
yeah.
that's where Home Shopping Network is. So we shot a thing with
Oh yeah.
Joan Rivers and Miss Piggy,
Oh,
and
there.
Wow.
2 days. And the first night we were there was an ice storm, which I'd
Yes.
never experienced before or since, where there was literally almost a half an inch, 3/8 of an inch of solid clear ice on the car in the morning. And my producer luckily had grown up in Colorado, because I'm like, what the, how do you even, and he knew what to do. And we just started cracking off like it's like a mold. Well, you guys know.
Yeah.
Right.
And all the trees were covered in like a half inch of clear glass. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. The first night it took us 2 hours to drive like 2 miles from the hotel to
Yeah.
Home Shopping
To the
Network.
to the
Whatever
to
you
the
do, don't pour hot water on the car, because
Okay.
your
We-
glass will shatter.
Oh yeah, no. What he did was we took the ice panels off the driver's side. He went in, turned on the engine, turned on the heat, and we went and had breakfast for 40
Yeah.
minutes.
right.
Came back.
then
Came back and it was all gone.
Yeah, well, it was all gone.
people
but
are
we
like,
could-
yeah. Well, what if someone steals your car? No, they're busy trying to get into their fucking
yeah,
car.
they
They're not gonna
can't get
steal
into their
your
cars
car.
either.
Yeah, they're not gonna take your car. They're worried about that.
I'm moving up to southern Washington, about an hour north of Portland, to a really charming little town. And it's funny you said that, because I wasn't thinking as big as like I'll make a film crew here, but I mean Portland's close enough that I could get people. There's a film community there, but I
Yeah,
think that's
well,
I love that idea.
you can find young people who are interested in that. We don't only have young people, but you can find young people, and
Yeah.
and
You can find lots of
respect-
old people in LA who
and you
would
can
like
find
to
old
help you.
people. you've got to find people who can. You can't make the movies. Please don't write letters. You can't make the movies with union film crews. You can't do it,
You
and
can't.
and frankly, you can't do it with all Screen Actors Guild actors. And beyond that, I don't. I want to discover actors. This movie
Right.
here, Getting Grace. Uh, I discovered this girl who came out of my high school, and she's amazing in the movie. And then she went to college, and when she came back, I cast her in this movie. And then she was in a movie called The Ruse with Veronica Cartwright. This kid that I discovered, it's her and Veronica Cartwright are the leads of the movie. She
What's
holds
her
the role
name?
of Veronica Cartwright, and now she's got a movie coming out this month called Hazel that she's the lead in. Now that kid wouldn't have any career if I didn't find her and give her a
Did you do
shot. And then,
classic
hmm?
audition? Were you just auditioning local kids and
Yeah,
people?
yeah, I went and found, but I found a kid who was so good in Getting Grace. I invite you guys to see it. And I didn't want to see him because I said I only want kids 18 and up. I'm not dealing with teachers. I'm not dealing with any of that. And this kid was 16, and he comes in and the teacher goes, they had a school for the arts. She goes, I know he's the kid. So I meet the kid. I go, hey, I'm auditioning for a movie. You want to audition for a movie? And he goes, all right. Oh, dude, if someone had come to Bethel, Pennsylvania when I was 16 and said, talk about Charles Nelson Riley, oh my God, yes, I want to audition for your movie. I'll be marvelous. Um, but
Well,
this
that's the
kid ended up being in the movie. He plays the girl's boyfriend. He's monumental. He's so good.
wow.
But
Well,
so you gotta, you know,
did they move to LA or
anytime.
sticking around Bethlehem?
Uh, she did not move to LA. Uh, Tragically, that young boy died of, I believe, fentanyl poisoning that I
Oh my
found.
Jesus,
God.
We
that's
found
horrible.
another boy for the next movie, who went from our movie to New York, and he's working all the time in New York. I saw this kid in a play, his senior class play, because my friend directed it. This freaking kid could have walked off the stage onto Broadway, and you would not have batted an eye. Because I don't know if you guys go to New York theater. Not everybody's terrific. It's weird.
What?
You think they're all going to be the greatest actors you've ever seen, but
No.
sometimes they're not.
Well, but now, I mean, New York is sort
That's
of
the
open,
headline for this episode.
but
Sometimes they're not all that great in New York.
Yeah. And
well,
Dan Roebuck received 4 death
I,
threats from Nathan
That's
Lane.
I saw Nathan in the Adams Family movie or play.
Oh, in the
Sorry.
play. Well, I'm
in the
sure he was
play.
terrific.
Yeah, yeah. Wait, yes, it was that. And
But
I
the
also
whole
saw.
time you're watching it, they're not really married. I guess you know that anyway.
Yeah, it ruined it. I knew that he wasn't really married to Morticia.
Thank you, Thing.
And then I saw the Mel Brooks Young Frankenstein music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
no, you
okay.
mean producers?
No,
Oh, Young
Young
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Young
But he
Frankenstein.
wasn't. But that wasn't Nathan Lane. That was.
No. It was a different cast. But I'm just saying, what I was kind of getting to is a lot of the plays are sort of what's a TV show or a book or something.
Yeah.
At least at that time, I don't know what it's like. I haven't been to New York.
Now it's. I mean, now it's all. You, I don't know, you guys. I never speak publicly about politics because I really don't. I feel like we should all be able to. We're in America. That's the whole point of it. But if every single thing is made with one political point of view, how will
Right.
you entertain everyone?
Yeah.
I don't
You can't.
understand. You can't.
Right. Which is
And we
why
should be in the business of entertaining everyone. You don't make a movie. You don't design it. Well, I'm going to design this so only people who vote red like it.
No,
Of
that's what
course
I
you
do.
That's
Yeah,
no, that's what you do, which is why you're not working. But
all his
the rest of us,
all his patients are Republican.
just like entertaining everybody.
Yeah.
And I never on my social media when someone makes a political, I go, we're not doing that. We're not
Yeah.
doing it.
No,
Well,
it's
no, I
interesting. People are starting to come around now. I mean, a couple famous actresses have come out just in the past couple days and said, I'm not going to talk about anything political anymore because actors are stupid. Just
Okay.
watch what we do."
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, they finally realized nobody cares.
Yeah,
How is this not with the capacity of an actor as magnificent as Robert De Niro was? How does he not have the capacity to not understand that nobody gives a shit about what some guy who's got $700 million thinks about another guy who's got $700 million? Doesn't it seem
yeah.
like you might be out of touch with a man who's buying a ticket for your movie?
Well,
Oh, do we
as
have any good news for people?
we do. I don't know what it is right now, but
we do. Well, we
no,
got Dan Roebuck as a guest. That's good news.
Oh, that's
that is
sweet.
good
Thank you.
news. And
Hey,
and
Kurt, by the way, how great is Adam Dougherty and how great is that creature?
I love Adam. He's great.
I'm so glad that you did that.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
No,
yeah.
his creature's amazing. Like he was obsessive doesn't begin to describe. He literally was counting the little suckers
Yeah.
on each
Oh,
palm,
I know.
and he
I've
can tell
I've
you
known
which.
Adam since he was 14.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh yeah, no, Adam was a bit of a discovery of our group. My friend Johnny Gilbert from Arizona, who's the Arizona Gillman, the greatest creature. Like if you guys have seen that life-size Mark Alfred creature, that
Mhm.
exists because idiot number one, Dan Roebuck, idiot number two, John Gilbert, and idiot number three, the great late John Fasano. We looked at each other one day and said, if we had a life-size creature, we would never want anything else in our lives. So we're the guys
and
who
that's
funded
exactly
that,
what happened.
and that's exactly what happened. And then it turns out I still collect toys and stuff.
But yeah, Adam's great. But wait, wasn't he in Denver? Didn't he grow up in Colorado? In
He grew up
Denver?
in Denver. John discovered him through sculpting I mean, here's a great
Oh,
story.
right. He did Garage Kit. He did Garage Kit
He did
sculpts. Yeah,
garage kids, but he did a creature mask that looked like it was pulled out of the mold,
yeah,
out of the Rico Browning underwater mold. And that's kind of when John said, "You got to see this kid's talent." Well,
yeah.
he started his mom and dad trusted him at the early monster paloozas and stuff
Yeah,
because I had kids his age and they knew I
yeah.
wasn't having Brian Singer parties in my backyard. So
In your
we
basement.
used to have the kids Universal Monsters sleeping bag.
Nah.
I have pictures of Adam fitting into the bag just fine.
No, that's
Um,
hilarious. Oh God, yeah, Small World. I met
yeah,
him at I think I first met him at one of the Mad Model shows, but I didn't get to know him until Monster Palooza. We talked
yeah,
a little
like
bit,
those Mad Model shows, he would have only been 15 years old.
but he was
Or
making kits, yeah,
yeah,
and I knew a bunch of guys in that world, but I like met him without talking to him, or saw his stuff. But
yeah.
he's great, and he's an amazing talent, and I'm so proud of him to be able to. Because when he moved back from LA to Denver, I was like, man, that's going to be a tough row to hoe. And he kind of found a sponsor in Meat Canyon. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, Me Canyon loves his stuff. He's doing
Uh,
some stuff for me. I'm finally gonna make a Dr. Shocker movie. And he's designing one of the characters in that. And I mean he's just great. A beautiful thing happened when poor Rob Zombie was having trouble. Universal couldn't comprehend that they owned Uncle Gilbert because the character appeared and it was the creature from Black Lagoon.
Yeah,
And Jack Cavan sculpted the mask or all those guys. We knew who worked, but Universal Studios wouldn't believe it. So he said to me one day, Rob goes, either you convince him or the character can't be in the movie. So I was writing to legal, showing proof of
yeah.
the mask, the butt, and I was counting the nodules, showing them that it's the exact same thing that they paid for, their company paid for. Anyway, in the end, we were going to use the Don Post, reworked underwater mask. And that's when Don didn't own the company anymore. And he said, Dan, I can't sign off on it because I don't own it. I don't want to get in trouble. And remember, he had already sued and, Malak Akkad for Halloween. Like he had already
Right.
been through all this.
Right.
So we were up against it. And I called John Gilbert. I go, is that mask he sculpted when he was 14 pliable? He goes, yeah, it's like the day. I said, I'm going to give you an address. They shipped that thing to Budapest and they repainted it. And his mask is Uncle Gilbert in our movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow. I didn't know you
Yeah.
shot in Budapest. What was that like?
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole other episode.
That was great. It was during COVID, so I did not have I would have liked to have gone. My grandfather's buried and he died at the Battle of the Bulge. I would have liked to have traveled through. But it was great. And because if you see the movie, everything's old. We only get to America at the end. They had to build the entire street in America because there is not one building in Budapest that looks like America.
Right.
So they built the street and they put the house at the end of it. It was great.
There was another movie or something that had the same problem. They shot the whole thing there, and then they needed to have it end up being like an American tract home from the 50s, and they had to build it. But I guess labor there is so cheap; it was cheaper.
Oh,
to shoot there.
yeah. I think the Brutalist may have shot
Maybe.
there.
Yeah.
By the way, the Brutalist is the greatest metaphor for independent filmmaking that's ever been made, especially the scene in the cave. And you've got to see the movie to see it.
All right.
But imagine that you're the guy with the art, the talent, and you need the guy
With the money.
with the money. And
Oh,
how
that
the
sounds just
people,
like us.
yeah. But I mean, look, if some one guy looked at this show and said, extrapolating from here, he obviously will know other actors like him. That guy could act in it too. This guy could design it. Between these two idiots, they could be directed.
David
how
Ellison,
does
we're
no one
talking to
go,
you.
Huh?
David
you know,
Ellison,
like-
we're talking to you.
Yeah.
It's all been a big
Someone on
room.
this thing fund the Bearded Weirdos production of
Right.
whatever these two guys come up with.
Uncle Gilbert Goes Hawaiian. There it is.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Uncle
goodness.
Gil, sorry, Eddie DZ,
Eddie
Daniel
Deason.
Roebuck.
Oh my goodness.
I tried to, for years, get the Muppets to do a beach blanket movie called Muppets Go Hawaiian. Could
Oh my
not. They
God.
just stare at you like you have three heads, and not in the good way. I was like, but it is. I mean, watch it. None of them had seen them, but aren't those old? I'm like, yes, they're Muppet movies with actors.
Yeah.
It's like Austin Powers. This is how bad it was, and then we can wrap up. I know we've gone over. I'm
blessed to be here. I hope you'll invite me back.
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
we'll see.
We'll do the Budapest episode. Yeah. We'll see what the ratings are.
We'll run it by the viewers. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We got to have some
We
focus groups.
Run it by marketing. But
You run it by marketing.
And then he went nuclear again.
Why am I doing that? I
It's
think
like
I
that
need a new
Twilight
computer.
That's funny.
Twilight episode where the
you
aliens
go.
he's glowing white. Austin Powers came out and I went and saw. I said, "Oh my god!" Because I'd been pitching a James Bond spy movie parody. I think the Muppets do really well with genre parodies. And I remember the head of film, who will go unnamed, said she walked out on it and she hated it. And I'm like, okay, but it's a Muppet. It's a Muppet movie. I mean, it's exactly the kind of jokes that we should be doing.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it. I'm like, well, that's the problem. The people,
And that's why Hollywood is dead.
Well, yeah.
Well, I do think we have to. If somebody somewhere has to come up with, the Lemleys, the creative spirit.
Look, in the history of the entertainment business, it's the darkest moments before the birth of something new. And I think we are at that spot now. And I
they
think I'm looking forward to the future where something raises its wonderful head and says, "Hey guys, come this way. This will be fun."
we're sort
So
of where films were at the end of the 60s with Hello
yeah,
Dolly and these big, giant, bloated studio pictures, which, are Marvel movies or DC movies or whatever, where they're spending 200 million and making 80. And I
yeah,
think it's the same thing. It's like the kind of the weird, oddballs. I mean, they were all in their 20s when Spielberg and
yeah.
Lucas and Coppola. But you have old guys with AI who can pitch stuff too.
I
Uh,
think a book that people should read. Obviously, they should read the one of Raging Bulls
Easy
and
oh
Riders and Raging
Easy
Bulls.
Riders, Raging Bull.
yeah,
That's a
great.
good one. You'll Never Eat Lunch in This Town Again
Yep,
is amazing. Really chronicles the creation of the Sting. But there's a book, you guys, I invite you to find. I think it's called The Studio. And it's about the 5 movies that were nominated for Best Picture in 1968, I think, which
it's
were,
called Pictures at an Exhibition.
it's not called The Studio. And so it
No,
was
it's
Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, The Graduate,
Hello Dolly.
Graduate,
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and Heat of the Night.
and do
Oh,
you
Oh,
remember
and
the fifth
Doctor
one?
Doolittle.
Dr.
Doctor
Doolittle.
Doolittle.
I knew there was some
And it,
Yeah, it's
that
it's
book is
fascinating.
fascinating. And Patton, not Patton too.
Not Patton. Patton came out in '70.
yeah.
There's an interesting thing though. I think it's in that book. I may have been another one. I think that why I like books like that is they're contemporaneous.
Hmm.
So if you watch Patton now, you could watch a making of Patton, and in the making of Patton, this man who we revere and we all do revere, Francis Ford Coppola, he talks about how he knew the speech was going to be the perfect way to open Patton. He knew, with all of his research, that was going to be how to sell the movie. Contemporaneously, in that book, they talk about how Franklin Schaffner moved the speech from the beginning of the second act
Right.
to the beginning
To
of the
the
movie.
to the beginning of the movie. Yep.
So it was never ever in the beginning of the movie. But in Coppola's mind,
Yeah.
that's where he wrote it. Yet all he'd have to do is pull the script off the shelf and open it, and he
Yeah.
could see that it was in the beginning of the second act of the film.
There's also a
Um,
great book that just came out last year about Francis Coppola and his journey. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like Path to Enlightenment, something like that. But it's always you have to take what the storyteller is telling you and take it with a big lump of salt, because everyone creates their own reality when they write books like
yes,
these. And it's
yes.
fascinating. I love those kind of books. My Audible account is filled with them.
Oh, interesting. By the way, I'm looking now. Don't I look like? Hold on. Watch this. Guilty. You get it, right?
I do. No, my
It
friends,
looks like
these
somewhere there
indictments that
should
I
be
brought you
there
today.
should be two hula hoops,
That's right.
two hula
That's right.
hoops glued together.
These
Guilty.
are matters of undeniable fact. The
These are
specific
matters of
charges herein against the individuals. These are matters of undeniable fact.
Hey, when a
Yes.
guy like it's John Barry, right? I'm getting that right.
John Barry is the production designer. Yes.
Right. He designed Fortress of Solitude,
Correct.
and they use essentially his design in 5 other movies that
Yeah.
have nothing to
Yeah.
do with. Do they pay him or his estate?
Well, he unfortunately died in 1980
I
on the
know,
set
yeah.
of Empire Strikes Back. But no, those designs belong to the studio, so they can do whatever they want with them.
Or
But
designers get no residuals.
Yeah.
designs,
We got
but John Williams, they use his score in
Yeah.
every recurring
Because
movie. They
because
pay him.
composers do get residuals.
composers and
Right.
writers get residuals. Even in books and music are the most protected copywritten material.
Interesting.
Which, but in terms of art, and Darren and I know this very well. You get nothing. I
You
designed
get
this-
nothing.
Get nothing, and you like it. Bill Stout, who's an amazing artist,
Yeah.
and a big Russian
guy.
artist, he's tried to get some sort of recompense for if you design a character, a set, or a spaceship, but they just were like, no,
Yeah, it's never. They're like, yeah, it's never gonna. It's just
Right.
interesting. Like when you think of, to me, the best of the new Star Wars movies is Rogue One because
Yeah.
they were forced to go back to the design
Yeah.
of Star Wars, and I maintain, you guys, once they put the banisters back on the steps, it all made sense again. Because
Yeah.
you can't have, like in the one where Harrison Ford dies, you
Right.
can't have an
There's no
expanse
railings.
without a railing.
Yeah.
Like, I like to say, I know we're supposed to, I want to just get this out. Like, so the Empire are the Nazis. And
Yeah.
if you know anything about World War II, the Nazis, like all socialists, they love government.
Yeah.
So
They love
they're
regulations.
going to have, like, 5 years before the Nazis went into Poland, they had already worked out the government of Poland. They had it worked out in theory, so they could just go take over Poland, right? And there were no questions. So would they have an OSHA guy,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
like, I don't care who you are or who your father is, you are not going to stand on this quarter mile expanse without a railing. Anybody walking through here carrying bricks would knock you off. No, I'm sorry, you've got to have your conversation down there.
It's like an Eddie Izzard bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why none of the other there's the guy has the red velvet curtains are burning up when the guy's dying, and you're like, why would you have red velvet curtains in a spaceship? Like, I don't understand. But there were no red velvet curtains in the Millennium Falcon because
Well, there
whoever
were. They
designed
just
that,
hid them.
whoever
his
designed it was like, you can't have curtains in a spaceship because they'd always be floating around. What are you fucking talking about?
Well,
Use
in an
your
Ed
head.
Wood movie, you had shower curtains in the airplane. So
That was in an airplane that wasn't a spaceship, Darren.
an
That
airplane
was
can
a
be a spaceship
terrestrial
if it
airplane.
tries.
Look, I know we got to go. Please have me back. You guys, I love you guys. You're two
We love
people
you too.
that I have
It's-
respect for, and all the time I've known you, I thought I wish I could know them better, and that's not a joke. So, and to everybody
Well,
who's
that's-
watching this
that's
show, you
sweet.
should know these are two of the most talented people I've met, and I met a lot of people in Hollywood. So, thank you for having me.
Are you
Well,
paying
it-
for them?
You're, it's delightful to have you on, and I miss talking to you so much. And you know what I miss almost as bad, the section in Fuddruckers where your photos
Oh,
were on
I-
the wall, and the
Yeah,
Dan Roebuck Memorial booth at
I know, it was
Fuddruckers
so
in Burbank.
nice. It was so nice to be loved in Burbank. Well, maybe in Tampa one day they'll have it, or Bethlehem.
One day.
Bethlehem,
One day.
Thank you guys. God bless
See
you
you,
all.
Dan,
you.
thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us too. And we promise to have another episode soon. Our schedules are just really screwed up, so forgive us that we take a couple weeks to bring out another episode.
Holiday
Yeah, for
season.
two guys, you guys, good luck. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks so much. The Weirded Beardos are Kirk Thatcher and Darren Doctorman. Email them at theweirdedbeardos@gmail.com.